My sister Eliza was born 3 minutes before me, but somehow that made her queen of the world and me a background prop. From the moment we could talk, she took the spotlight, the louder laugh, the prettier handwriting, the better grades. But it wasn't just her. It was our parents too. If Eliza sneezed, they applauded. If I got sick, I was being dramatic. By the time we were 8, I'd already figured out how the script went. I was the failure twin, the spare, the one always trying but never quite enough. It wasn't always hate. When we were little, we had matching outfits, shared Barbies, and watched cartoons cuddled under the same blanket. But around age 12, Eliza discovered that being better than me came with rewards, compliments, gifts, freedom. That's when the sister I knew slowly disappeared, replaced by someone colder, sharper, always watching for her next advantage. High school made everything worse. She was the cheerleader with straight A's who never studied. I was the girl who stayed up until 3 a.m. just to get a B. Eliza's college acceptance was celebrated with a backyard barbecue and a custom cake that read, "Our Shining Star." My acceptance came with a distracted, "good job," and a quick change of topic to her dorm shopping list. Still, I was used to being overlooked. I had built my armor. Quietly, I worked, studied, got scholarships, and learned to disappear in my own way. But I wasn't prepared for what she did next. Our mom had been recently diagnosed with a minor health condition, and she used that as an excuse to guilt me into staying in town for college. Eliza, of course, was already out of state at a prestigious university, living the life I thought I wanted. At first, I ignored her texts. Then they got weird. "Hey, can I borrow your Amazon login? Can you help me with this financial aid form? Just need your SSN for the sample." "It's not a big deal. I just need to show them someone's schedule for work study." She always had a reason, a favor, a guilt trip. And stupidly, I always gave in. What I didn't know then was that this wasn't about sisterly help. Eliza was laying the groundwork for something darker, something that would cost me everything I'd worked for. I found out the hard way. It was a rainy Tuesday when I came home from class to find my mailbox stuffed. I thought it was junk mail until I saw it. A letter from a credit card company thanking me for opening an account, one I never applied for. Then another. And another. All in my name. I froze. That night I called Eliza. "Hey, have you used my name for anything lately?" Silence. Then, "I don't know what you're talking about." She hung up. The next morning I got a call from my bank. There had been unusual activity. Someone had used my account to buy a $1,300 handbag in Miami. I've never even been to Florida. I changed every password. I locked my credit. I filed a fraud report. But the worst part wasn't the money or the credit score. It was realizing who had done this. My sister. The girl who once held my hand during thunderstorms had just set fire to my future. And as I stared at the screenshots, the bank records, the digital fingerprints she'd left behind, one thought kept repeating in my head like a siren. She's not going to stop. I didn't sleep that night. I stared at the ceiling of my tiny dorm room, lit only by the soft blue light from my laptop screen. Page after page of unauthorized charges, credit rejections, and debt notifications in my name. Every time I closed my eyes, I imagined Eliza's smirk. That same smirk she gave me when we were kids, and she got away with breaking Mum's favorite verse, while I got grounded for it. Old wounds, reopened with precision. By the next morning, I had a plan. I skipped class and went straight to the campus police station. The officer there was polite, but unbothered. "Do you have proof your sister did this?" Proof. Of course I didn't. Not yet. The screenshots weren't enough. The timing was suspicious, the behavior unethical, but the system demanded more. I was up against not just Eliza, but a wall of red tape, and she knew it. When I called her again, it wasn't to ask, it was to confront. "Eliza, I know it was you. The charges, the fake accounts, the cards. It all started the week after I gave you my Amazon login." A pause. Then, laughter. "You're paranoid," she said. "I didn't do anything. Maybe you're just irresponsible with money." I wanted to scream. Instead, I whispered, "I'm filing a police report." "Go ahead," she snapped. "Let's see what Mom and Dad say when they find out you're accusing your own sister of fraud." Click. 10 minutes later, my phone buzzed with a message from Mom. Mom. "Daisy, I just got off the phone with Eliza. She's really upset. Why are you saying these horrible things about her?" And just like that, I was the villain again. The next few days were a blur of emails, calls, and rejection letters. My bank froze my account, because of potential involvement in suspicious activity. My scholarship provider flagged my file for financial discrepancies. I nearly lost my job at the campus library after someone, and I didn't need to guess who, called HR pretending to be me and claimed I was dropping out due to mental instability. I was unraveling, fast, until I realized something. Eliza was getting sloppy. She couldn't help herself. For years, she'd been handed everything. No consequences, no accountability. She'd built her whole life on manipulation and favoritism. She never thought I'd fight back. But now she was making mistakes. Big ones. Like using my name to order a Gucci handbag shipped to our parents' house. I waited until the package arrived, then asked a favour from my old friend Maya, now a paralegal. She helped me file a small claim in court to dispute the charges using delivery records and my financial report. Then, something incredible happened. The court sent a notice to my parents' address. Eliza called that night, panicked. "Why did I get a court letter with your name on it?" I smiled, not that she could see it. "You'll find out soon enough." But Eliza wasn't done. A few days later, I was invited to a family dinner, something we hadn't done in years. I knew it was a setup, but I went anyway. I needed to see their faces. Mom opened the door with her best forced smile. Dad hovered behind her. Eliza was already at the table, looking like she'd rehearsed every word. "I know you're struggling," she began, voice soft and fake. "But these accusations, they're hurting the family." "You mean the truth?" I asked. Her face twitched. "I want to give you a chance to make this right. Just sign a letter saying you gave me permission to use your cards, and we'll forget everything." I blinked. "You're insane." Dad slammed his hand on the table. "Enough, Daisy. You've been out of control for months. Your sister is trying to help you." "She stole from me," I shouted. "She ruined my credit, impersonated me, nearly got me expelled, and you're still defending her?" The room went silent. Eliza dropped the mask for just a second. "You think you're so perfect, don't you? Always the victim, always the martyr." I stared at her, at the person who used to be my best friend and had now become a stranger, a threat. "I'm not the victim," I said calmly. "I'm the storm you never saw coming." And that was the moment I decided this wouldn't end with tears or begging for justice. This would end with Eliza watching her world collapse, piece by piece, exactly how she tried to do to mine. I never imagined myself plotting against my own sister. But Eliza wasn't a sister anymore. She was an identity thief, a manipulator, and a time bomb with my name written all over it. And if I didn't act fast, she'd take down everything I'd built. So I did what I do best, research. While Eliza flaunted fake success online and played the perfect daughter at home, I turned my dorm room into an evidence bunker. I printed every bank statement, every flagged transaction, every credit card rejection, and highlighted the dates that lined up perfectly with her sudden shopping sprees and spa visits on Instagram. But screenshots wouldn't be enough. I needed irrefutable proof, something I could take to the authorities and shove under the noses of everyone who'd blindly taken her side, especially Mom and Dad. So I got creative. First, I remembered Eliza had once used my card to throw a surprise birthday party for her friend at a restaurant called Riverstone Grill, a $600 charge that showed up on my bill. I called the restaurant pretending to be checking on a reservation. "I'm just confirming for April 22nd. Do you still have the security footage from that night? My cousin thinks her boyfriend cheated, and we're just trying to check something." The hostess laughed. "We do have footage, but it's old. Manager has to pull it up." I went in person the next morning, and with a little charm and a lot of desperation, convinced the manager to let me see the video. There she was. Eliza, laughing, drinking, holding my card while swiping it at the counter. Clear as day. I recorded the screen with my phone. Date and time matched the charge. Evidence number 1. Check. Next, I created a fake Instagram account. I messaged Eliza's business page, Closet Cravings by Eliza, pretending to be an interested buyer looking for a designer bag. "Cash only," she responded. "Pick up tomorrow, 3 p.m., my apartment. Message for address." She gave me her full location. The same apartment listed in the credit fraud case tied to my name. I screenshot everything. I even got her voice note saying, "Yeah, it's authentic. Came directly from the Louis store. Trust me. No fakes here." Except she bought it with my card. Evidence number 2, slam dunk. But the final blow came when I installed a cheap security camera in my dorm. I didn't even hide it well, just enough to blend into the shelf next to my door. That weekend, while I was supposedly out of town, I left the room empty. Eliza took the bait. She used a key, probably one my parents gave her, in case of emergency, and entered my room. She rifled through drawers, opened my laptop, took photos of my documents, and, get this, left a sticky note on my desk. "You can't hide from family." Well, guess what, Eliza? You can't hide from footage. I downloaded every second of it, backed it up to 3 cloud drives, and made sure it was crystal clear. Timestamp, her face, the note. Evidence number 3. The nail in the coffin. That night, I sent everything to my friend Hannah, a law student interning with a criminal defense firm. She called me within the hour, breathless. "This is textbook identity theft, breaking and entering, and fraud. Daisy, this could put her behind bars." I should have felt scared, but I didn't. For the first time in years, I felt powerful. But I wasn't finished. I mailed a copy of the footage and the screenshots to my parents. No message, no explanation, just truth, pure, undeniable, unfiltered truth. 3 days later, I got a text from my mom. "We need to talk. Please come home." I ignored it. Another message, this time from Dad. "I didn't know. I swear. We need to fix this. Too little, too late." And then, the cherry on top. Eliza herself messaged me. "What the hell is your problem? You're blowing everything out of proportion. You want attention? Fine. I'll give it to you." What followed was a series of posts on her social media, painting me as unstable, jealous, and obsessed. She called me bitter, said I fabricated everything, and that I was trying to destroy her life because mine wasn't good enough. But this time I didn't argue. I didn't explain. I simply posted a response of my own. The footage, the screenshots, the police report, the texts. It went viral in less than an hour. Comments poured in. "She stole from her own sister? Eliza, this is beyond disgusting. You deserve better, Daisy." Mutual friends who'd ghosted me reached out with apologies. Even one of Eliza's exes messaged me, sharing how she'd borrowed money and never returned it. Suddenly, the golden twin was tarnished, and I, the invisible, forgotten failure twin, was the one holding the spotlight. But I wasn't done. I was going to take her to court, and this time, no one would protect her. The courthouse smelled like old books, stress, and desperation. I stood outside holding a folder stuffed with receipts, screenshots, surveillance footage, and witness statements. Everything I needed to prove that Eliza wasn't just a manipulative sister. She was a criminal. My hands shook, not from fear, but adrenaline. The years of being overlooked, dismissed, blamed. They all funneled into this one moment. When I walked inside, Eliza was already there. Sunglasses. Perfect hair. A smug look like this was just another game she'd win. Sitting beside her was a lawyer, paid for by our parents, no doubt, flipping through a thin binder of flimsy defences. I took my seat. On my side, my lawyer friend Hannah, now officially representing me pro bono. She was dressed in sharp navy and had the kind of energy that could slice steel. The judge walked in. Court was called to order. And then it began. The prosecutor laid it out. 3 months of identity theft, thousands of dollars in fraudulent purchases, false impersonation, attempted career sabotage, breaking and entering, selling stolen goods. My evidence was bulletproof. First, the security footage. The courtroom gasped audibly when they saw Eliza slipping into my dorm room, taking photos of my bank statements, and leaving that now infamous sticky note. "You can't hide from family." Next, the bank records. Charges made during dates I could prove I was physically elsewhere, taking finals, in class or out of town. Charges Eliza signed for or picked up herself. One receipt even had her signature. Then, the Instagram messages from her business page. Her voice notes bragging about authentic bags, all bought with my stolen identity. And finally, the restaurant security footage, showing her swiping my card with zero shame, laughing over cocktails like my credit score was a joke. By the time I stepped onto the stand, the courtroom wasn't wondering if she did it. They were wondering how the hell she thought she'd get away with it. I told my story. All of it. The childhood comparisons, the favoritism, the way Eliza twisted every kindness into leverage, the financial ruin, the manipulation, the betrayal. Tears welled up, not from weakness, but release. I had carried the story alone for so long. Speaking it out loud felt like ripping open a wound and watching it finally start to heal. Eliza's lawyer tried a weak defense. She was under emotional distress, he argued. The sisters had unresolved conflict. Eliza only used the cards believing she'd be paid back eventually. The judge's face didn't move an inch. Did the defendant have written permission to use the plaintiff's identity for credit applications, major purchases, or employment impersonation? The lawyer fumbled. No, Your Honor. Did the defendant have legal access to the dormitory room? No. Then Eliza was called to the stand. She tried to cry. She tried to talk about mental health and family pressure, and how she just wanted to feel equal. But the truth had already been unleashed. The courtroom had seen her laugh while spending my money, had heard her voice telling fake buyers to bring cash to her apartment, had watched her break into my room and leave threats. There was no coming back from that. When the judge read the verdict, my chest tightened. Guilty, on all counts. Identity theft, fraud, harassment, breaking and entering. Eliza didn't cry then. She didn't scream. She didn't even look at me. She just slumped forward like the air had finally left her, like, for once in her life, she couldn't spin this into sympathy. Sentencing would come later, but the damage was done. The golden child had fallen. And I walked out of that courthouse free, not just legally, but emotionally. No more trying to earn love from people who only saw my sister's light and my shadow. No more silence. No more shame. For the first time, I was the one who mattered, not as a victim, but as the girl who stood up when no one else would. Eliza was sentenced to 2 years of probation, mandatory therapy, and 300 hours of community service. Her lawyer begged the court for leniency, and thanks to a first-time offender status, she narrowly escaped jail time. But that didn't feel like a loss to me, because jail would have been easy, a clear punishment, a clear timeline. What she had to face now was worse, living with what she'd done, in full view of the world that once adored her. The story had gone semi-viral after the courtroom footage leaked. Twin sister identity theft became a trending headline for a week. Suddenly, Eliza wasn't the girl with perfect Instagram filters and college dreams. She was the thief, the liar, the fraud. I got calls from cousins I hadn't heard from in years. Some apologized. Some asked if it was really all true. I didn't respond to most of them, but the call that shook me was from Mom. Daisy. Her voice was small. We saw everything. The court, the footage, your testimony. She broke down crying. I just listened. We failed you, she said. We failed both of you, but especially you. It should have made me feel better, but it didn't. Not yet. Because words don't fix years of silence. Apologies don't erase the sound of a mother saying, "Why can't you be more like Eliza?" And remorse doesn't return stolen years of trust, confidence, identity. Dad called too. "Come home," he said. "Let's talk. We want to fix this." I went. Once. The house looked the same, but it felt smaller, older, faded. Eliza was there, too. No makeup, no designer bag, no smirk. Just a girl who finally had to face herself without a mirror built from lies. She didn't speak right away. When she did, her voice cracked. "I'm sorry." I didn't respond. I didn't need to. The silence said everything. I thought if I took what you had, I could feel like I was enough. She paused. But it didn't work. It never does. I left that day not with closure, but with clarity. She could apologize. Our parents could cry. But forgiveness wasn't a reset button. I had learned something far more valuable than how to survive betrayal. I'd learned how to thrive after it. Months later. The restitution checks started arriving. Eliza sold her car, sold her designer bags, took a retail job to cover the court-mandated payback. Each check was signed off with cold legal language. No letters, no notes. Just money and consequences. My credit score began to recover. My name was cleared with the banks, my job, and the school. I even got a quiet promotion at work. More responsibility, more trust. My boss told me that you handled yourself like a pro, even with everything going on. I moved to a new apartment, changed my number, left no forwarding address with my family. Distance wasn't cruelty, it was self-preservation. Therapy helped. I unpacked the damage Eliza had caused, and the deeper wounds our family had left behind. Slowly, I started building something new. Something mine. A few people still believed Eliza's old lies. That I was bitter, that I'd exaggerated, that I tore the family apart. But I didn't care anymore. I wasn't here to fix anyone's version of me. I was too busy being the version I'd always been, just never allowed to be. Strong, clear-eyed, whole. 1 year later, I got a job offer in a new city. A bigger role, better pay, clean slate. I packed my life into boxes. No chaos this time, no running, just choice. As the moving truck pulled away, I stood on the sidewalk for a moment, and I smiled. The girl who once begged to be seen had finally chosen to be free. Not the golden twin, not the forgotten one. Just me. Whole, unshakable, and finally in control of my own story.